More than 2,000 years ago, on the shores of the Mediterranean Sea, humanity began building what would become the greatest library the ancient world had ever known. Founded by Alexander the Great and expanded under the Ptolemaic dynasty, Alexandria quickly became one of the most important cities of the ancient world. Its rulers dreamed of creating a place unlike anything the world had ever seen, a center where all human knowledge could be gathered under one roof. This ambitious vision led to the creation of the Library of Alexandria, a place that would forever change the history of learning. For centuries, scholars from across Europe, Africa, and Asia traveled to Alexandria, bringing with them ideas that would shape civilization itself. But despite its extraordinary legacy, the greatest library ever built would one day disappear, leaving behind one of history's most enduring mysteries. Stepping inside the Library of Alexandria was like entering the intellectual heart of the ancient world, where knowledge from countless civilizations came together. Historians believe the library may have housed hundreds of thousands of scrolls covering philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, geography, and literature. Every ship arriving at Alexandria's harbor was carefully inspected for books, manuscripts, and scientific writings brought from distant lands. According to historical accounts, original manuscripts were copied by skilled scribes before the copies or originals were returned to their owners. The library was far more than a collection of books. It served as a living center of research, discussion, and scientific discovery. Within these remarkable halls, some of history's greatest thinkers expanded humanity's understanding of the universe, leaving discoveries that continue to influence the modern world. The Library of Alexandria attracted some of the brightest minds of the ancient world, transforming the city into a center of scientific discovery and intellectual exchange. Among its most influential scholars was Euclid, whose work on geometry became one of the most important mathematical foundations in human history. Another remarkable figure was Eratosthenes, who calculated the circumference of the Earth with astonishing accuracy more than 2,000 years ago. Although Archimedes spent much of his life in Syracuse, his ideas and discoveries were closely connected to the vibrant intellectual community of Alexandria. Astronomers mapped the heavens, physicians advanced medical knowledge, and philosophers debated ideas that would influence generations to come. For generations, the Library of Alexandria stood as a symbol of humanity's belief that knowledge should be collected, preserved, and shared. The Library of Alexandria sought to collect every significant work of knowledge known to the ancient world, regardless of its place of origin. Scholars translated writings from Egyptian, Greek, Persian, Hebrew, and many other cultures, preserving ideas that might otherwise have been lost forever. Mathematics, astronomy, medicine, engineering, geography, poetry, and philosophy were studied side by side within the same remarkable institution. The library became a meeting place where ideas crossed borders long before the modern concept of international collaboration existed. Knowledge was treated as one of civilization's greatest treasures, carefully copied, preserved, and passed from one generation to the next. For generations, the Library of Alexandria stood as humanity's greatest symbol of curiosity, learning, and the pursuit of truth. Despite its extraordinary achievements, the Library of Alexandria existed in a world shaped by political struggles, wars, and changing empires. Over the centuries, Alexandria witnessed repeated conflicts, each placing its treasured collections at increasing risk. One of the earliest accounts connects the library's fate to Julius Caesar's campaign in Alexandria in 48 BCE. Ancient sources disagree on how much damage occurred, and historians continue to debate whether the main library itself was destroyed during that event. Rather than disappearing in a single catastrophe, some scholars believe the library declined gradually through centuries of neglect, conflict, and political change. Whatever happened, the gradual loss of its priceless collections became one of the greatest cultural tragedies in human history. The destruction of the Library of Alexandria remains one of history's greatest unanswered questions, with no single event universally accepted by historians. Some ancient writers blamed the fire that accompanied Julius Caesar's military campaign, although surviving evidence remains incomplete. Other historians argue that the library survived that period and continued operating for generations afterward. Another theory suggests that repeated conflicts and changing political priorities slowly weakened the institution over many centuries. Without continuous support from rulers and scholars, even the greatest centers of learning can gradually disappear. Today, historians generally agree that the library's disappearance was likely the result of multiple events, rather than a single dramatic moment. Although the Library of Alexandria disappeared, its greatest achievement was never the building itself, but the knowledge it helped preserve and spread across civilizations. Copies of important works survived in other libraries, private collections, and distant centers of learning, allowing ancient ideas to outlive the institution that once protected them. Centuries later, scholars throughout the Islamic Golden Age translated, preserved, and expanded many classical works that might otherwise have disappeared forever. These preserved texts later returned to Europe, contributing to the intellectual revival that became known as the Renaissance. In this way, the spirit of the Library of Alexandria continued to shape the course of human knowledge long after its walls had vanished. Its greatest lesson may be that knowledge becomes truly powerful only when it is shared, preserved, and passed to future generations. Even today, archaeologists continue searching beneath the streets and waters of Alexandria, hoping to uncover new clues about its legendary library. Excavations have revealed ancient lecture halls, statues, inscriptions, and public buildings that offer valuable insights into Alexandria's remarkable intellectual culture. Although the exact location of the original library remains uncertain, each new discovery helps historians better understand the city that once inspired the world. In 2002, a new chapter began with the opening of the Bibliotheca Alexandrina, created to honor the spirit of the ancient library. Today, the Bibliotheca Alexandrina serves as an international center for learning, research, culture, and dialogue between civilizations. Rather than rebuilding the past, the modern library celebrates the timeless belief that knowledge belongs to all humanity. Its architecture symbolizes the rising sun, reflecting the idea that every generation can discover new knowledge and illuminate the future. The dream that began more than 2,000 years ago continues to inspire libraries, universities, and researchers across the globe. Although the ancient library is gone, its influence continues to shape the way humanity preserves, shares, and values knowledge. Perhaps the greatest treasure of Alexandria was never its collection of scrolls, but its belief that knowledge should never stop growing. Today, the Library of Alexandria stands not only as a lost monument of history, but as a timeless reminder of humanity's endless pursuit of knowledge. Although countless scrolls have vanished forever, many of their ideas survived through generations of scholars who refused to let knowledge disappear. The greatest treasure preserved by Alexandria was not simply information, but the belief that curiosity has the power to transform civilization. Every library, university, museum, and research center today carries forward a small part of the vision that once flourished in ancient Alexandria. Its story reminds us that civilizations become truly great, not only through wealth or power, but through their commitment to learning. The Library of Alexandria may have vanished, but its spirit continues wherever people seek truth, preserve history, and share ideas. Perhaps the true lesson of Alexandria is that knowledge is humanity's most valuable inheritance, and protecting it is a responsibility shared by every generation. Thank you for watching Timeless Chronicles. If you enjoyed exploring history's greatest mysteries, please like, subscribe, and join us for another journey into the stories that shaped our world.